everyone, I'm Tammy.
And I'm Alicia.
And we're from the Sewing Cafe. So today we are talking about our holiday gift guide. Can you believe Christmas is almost here?
Oh my goodness, it's so close.
Just so you know, we are closing early on the 24th. We will not be open past 2 p.m. But anyway, let's get to it. So I think a great pattern makes a great gift. And we just got some Annie's patterns in by Annie.com. You might be familiar. So this is the Travel Essentials set, which my husband had something very similar to this for years and it broke. So this might be the perfect holiday make for me. And we have some holiday make classes coming up. So maybe I'll actually sit in the class and sew something. Maybe.
We have the backseat babysitter. So this is perfect for your long car rides. You got the perfect little kit to hold all your kitties. Little, I think there's a spot for a tablet, all snacks and drinks and crayons galore. So great option.
So I've seen quite a few grandparents make this because she puts this little clip on here. Hopefully you can see. And so it snaps into the back of a seat very quickly. Like you can switch cars with this, which is kind of nice. There's this flipping out pattern, which is a lovely holder because everything's standing up when you unzip it. So these are perfect for going to retreat.
Got the drop zone zippered tray trio. Great for all your sewing goodies, or if you have a makeup fanatic, anyone in the family, great for that as well.
The thing I love about this pattern is that when you unzip it, it actually folds open and there's pieces on the end. So everything that's in there becomes a lot more visible than your typical zippered pouch. She really puts a lot of care into the patterns that she does. We have the cut it out pattern, which is great if you want to practice binding and you're just looking for a little project to get started. I've seen a lot of beginner sewists use this pattern.
And the ultimate travel bag for all you travelers. Got a little section there to add to the top of your luggage bag. Great carry-on.
Oh yeah, because it just slides on over the handle and it stops it from flopping. It's actually a really beautiful bag. I saw quite a few of them when I went to QuiltCon, and I need to not add too many things to my make list, but that might be the perfect travel bag. Okay, so those are the new patterns in store, but let's get down to our list. So we've broken the list into 3 different types of sewists. I don't know what to call you people. Beautiful people, that's what you are. So we're going to start off with quilters. We'll have a timestamp, so if you're a garment maker, you can skip the quilting stuff. I don't know why you would want to, but if you do, no judgment. And then we're putting some needlework stuff at the end because we are a stitchy store now too. Maybe I could call everyone stitchers. I don't know.
Maybe.
Okay.
I think it's just quilters, sewists, and stitchers. Yeah.
But quilters or sewists? I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to start with the Blade Saver thread cutter. And I don't know if you've seen this pretty little guy in action. So what's in the middle here is actually an old rotary cutter blade. You know when they get dull and you have to switch them out? What do you do with them? You can use it to trim your threads. So if you're just chain piecing and you're just stitching and never breaking that thread, you can actually pull, here, hold this so I can do like a visual. You can actually take your 2 pieces and just pull your thread through this little notch here, and the rotary cutting blade is still sharp enough that it'll cut that thread for you so much faster if you need to trim those threads. And it's a great use of an old rotary cutter blade. So it comes with a little screwdriver that you can store in here. It's thought of everything. And it packs down quite flat. So this can actually go inside of here, I believe, in case you're going to retreat. Okay, so that's the Blade Saver thread cutter. Nobody ever remembers the name of this thing, but it's a great product. And it was actually one of the products featured at the Toronto Modern Quilt Guild's little chat about favorite tools. Rotary cutter replacement blades. When was the last time you switched out your blade? Are you fighting with it? You shouldn't be fighting with it.
I'm definitely fighting with mine.
This is the perfect stocking stuffer because I never want to buy them. I always love a new blade, but I never actually want to buy them. So have somebody put it in your stocking for you or add it to a little gift because you can never go wrong with these. If you have a Skyline machine with a walking foot, did you know, even though the machine doesn't come with it, you can switch out the foot to have walking foot with 1/4 inch guide? Yes, this is a thing and it is a game changer. We're going to put out a video where Catherine is raving about this thing. I have something similar on my older Janome machine, the 7700, but it's a whole foot I have to switch out. This is not that expensive. And
it's super easy.
All you have to do is snap this off. And you can see there's just 2 little posts here that snap in. So you feed it through the front of the machine. Oh. You feed it through the front and then it just snaps in and you're ready to go. So easy to switch out. If you don't have the Skyline, which Skylines are they? The S6, S7, S8, I think.
Possibly the S9.
Definitely does not fit the S3. You're probably going to want more of a traditional walking foot. So you could go with something standard like this. So this is this 5 millimeter or 7 millimeter?
It's both. It's 5 and 7 millimeter.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so it works for both those machines. There is also another one that we've sold in store and you can order through us. It is not a problem. We just happen to be sold out right now.
The convertible even feed foot. So it's very, very similar. So it still has your guide. What is that called? Is that a guide?
Yeah, we'll call it a guide
of some sort. And then it also has your stitch in the ditch guide that it's very similar to this one. It's a little bar that comes out and then it just sits in between your foot. So it also comes with an open and closed toe foot and it's great. I have one. I love it.
Because you can change it up depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that was unfortunate is that they do not have a 1/4 inch foot for it. But otherwise, it's amazing and I love it.
Yeah, you don't get this. Sorry. I really am sorry for you. Okay, quilt kits. You know, if you're purchasing something for someone else, a quilt kit is a really nice way to get everything ready to go. Some of us just have decision paralysis when we see all these beautiful fabrics. How do you choose which ones you're going to use? Well, maybe you come in and we work with you and your pattern and your needs, or maybe you're like me and you just think it's beautiful so you buy 3 yards. I don't know. Well, we sell in meters, but we do have kits ready to go. So if you are a Yellowstone fan, this is
a Beth inspired quilt. So if you've seen the show, Beth has this very similar quilt that she wraps around herself
every time she's naked, folks. You see this quilt wrapped around her. So we've got the fabrics chosen here for you, and I believe this includes, yeah. So you've got your gray backing fabric, you've got your 9 patches, and you've got your binding fabric. Backing is not included, but we have some beautiful backings that could go with it. Either at fireside if you're looking for something cozy, or how perfect is this? So this is a Shannon Cuddle. Is it a Cuddle? It's by Shannon Fabrics. It's so soft. I would want to wrap myself in that forever. Okay. So that's one quilt kit. If you have someone that is a color lover, yes, we have Postcard from Sweden kits ready to go. And we have a die cutter that will cut the half square triangles for you with the dog ears already trimmed off, if that is your mojo. Outside of quilt kits, we also have beautiful fat quarter bundles. These sold out on the day we first received them and we had to order more. Thankfully, they had more. This line is beautiful. Maybe I'll insert a picture here. We've had a couple people already finish quilts with them. This has been here, I don't know, a month?
Yeah,
month and a half.
something like that, yeah.
Not that long.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful line. We also have some yardage left over here. You can just see it off camera if I can get my finger in the right place.
Yeah, I think there's 4 people working on that pattern right now, like with that quarter bundle. And we had another lady come in who's going to be doing the happy hour quilt in January, and she also purchased that. So
it looks so good.
It's very popular. It's very beautiful, and it's so funny how different every quilt comes out depending on what what's the word called?
Binding.
No, like the highlight color.
The coordinating.
Yeah.
Center strip.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
We speak English today, clearly. So we also have some other fat quarter bundles. So this is not produced by the company. What we did was we took the yardage that we had, and this is mostly the Melrose line, but we had a couple other fabrics that played really nicely with it. So we just put them together in a little bundle for you. And that is ready to go. And who doesn't love it? And this fat quarter bundle, there's some beautiful fabrics in here. Now, I know not everyone is a Kate Spade fan, but I love these fabrics. And one of these fabrics, we sold so much of it. It's this one. This makes such a fabulous backing. We had to order another bolt of it for a customer because she loved it so much. But I just, oh, they're stunning, and they go so well together. Like, who doesn't want this? And we found a way to use some of our scraps to tie them, so less waste, and I think it's pretty darn cute.
Yeah.
Nice job, Alicia.
Thanks.
Okay. If you are not labeling your quilts and you don't want to do something super, super difficult, maybe some little labels that say made by grandma. Come on, it's sweet. Or stitch with love. And we have handmade as well. Garment maker or quilter, this is for you. Okay. Needles. Needles, needles, needles. Purple tip needles. So if you're not familiar with purple tip needles, if you were getting skipped stitches and you've tried, you know, rethreading, doing all of those things, this might be the ticket to fix it for you. We have our red tip needles, which are used for regular sewing with things like cotton. Is that a denim?
No, that's just the 14.
Oh, that's just the 14. Okay, we have denim needles too, just not right here. And then of course our ballpoint needles as well. So lots and lots of needles. You know you're going to go through them. Like, this is the perfect thing to put in your stocking. You need it anyway. I like useful things in my stocking. Okay. And I'm going to say this one a bunch. When was the last time you switched out your stitch ripper? You know they get dull, right? It's the last thing we ever want to have to use. But when we're using it, it shouldn't be frustrating. If you find that it's not really cutting well anymore, it might be time for a new one. How much does this cost?
$3.39.
$3.39 for a new Janome stitch ripper. Not a bad thing to have in the stocking, especially these things get lost in my house like nobody's business. You can find my cat carrying them around in her mouth sometimes, and I'm like, really? But you can also upgrade and do one of these where this eraser bit here gets rid of all the short little threads, so you can rub it on and it'll grab them for you.
Makes life a lot easier than having to pick out every single stitch.
Yeah. Okay. Quilters, you might want to jump to the end where we talk about some of the bigger items. But for now, we're going on to garment making. So if you're a garment maker, stick with us. So we were talking about the walking foot for the quilters, and you know what? I believe a walking foot totally makes sense for garment makers as well. Because when you're dealing with, it's fine. When you're dealing with bulkier fabrics or a couple different layers like velvet, corduroy, flannel, these fabrics love having that even feed from the top and the bottom. So in the quilting section, I already talked about this foot for our Skyline series of machines, other than the S3.
This one's the 5mm or 7mm foot, so it'll fit most low shank machines.
If you have a Janome machine, odds are we can find you a walking foot. And if you don't have a Janome machine, there's still a chance we can find you a walking foot. It's just something that we'll have to order in because we don't carry other brands in store.
Well, a great example though is that I have a Singer and this fits my machine, so we can always check if it'll fit yours too.
We have to be careful with that though, because just because it fits your Singer doesn't mean it'll fit every Singer.
For sure.
Yeah, just want the people out there to realize. But another game changer as a garment maker for me, I don't like fighting with zippers, but the garments I make, a lot of them have zippers. And I really like the concealed zippers. You know those hidden little zippers that you don't see and there's just that little tiny pull tab? Do yourself a favor, stop fighting with them by the foot. This mixed with some of this wash away Wonder Tape. I don't pin, I don't baste in terms of putting in zippers, and my zippers look good.
Yeah, I used that same foot for my my satin dress. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but it was amazing. Like one quick psh, and it was done.
No puckering whatsoever. Like, and Alicia's
pretty new
to sewing. And she was working with satin with an invisible zipper, and it looks stunning on her. It's worth the foot. What does this cost? So this is the 7mm foot, and it's $16.15. You are not going to break the bank on this.
It is 15 as well, or 5 as well. I know it doesn't say it on there, but it is.
Oh, so this does the 5 as well?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's a separate one for the 9mm machines, but we've got you covered. Like, don't fight with your invisible zippers. It's not worth it. Okay. Yeah. What else are we talking about here? Wash away double-sided tape. I use it with my invisible zippers. I use it when I want something stabilized a little bit as I'm sewing it so that it doesn't go all wavy and buckly. I use it in so many things. Matching up stripes. I'm not fighting with stripes and I am not fighting with pins. I am a pinimalist. A little bit of that tape goes a long, long way.
I also used it to make my maxi dress with the knit, and it made my life so much easier because that material just rolls right under, and it's so difficult to work with. So
yeah,
it was definitely a game changer.
Yeah, it's not a huge expense. One thing I will say, if you're working with it though, don't cut it, tear it, because it makes it easier to peel it back. I've got nails and it was still, I didn't want to peel it, so that was nice. Talked about the walking foot. We're going to try to put together some garment kits on the website. I know some people feel a bit overwhelmed trying to match fabric to pattern. We have some patterns in store. If you have a different pattern that you've purchased elsewhere, no judgment, bring it in and we'll help you match up to the fabrics that we have in store. That is not an issue.
No.
And honestly, I think Alicia geeks out more on garment making than she does quilting. Although she is officially a quilter now. Other things that might be good for sewists, garment makers, smaller rotary cutters. Often with garment making, we're dealing with smaller curves and it's easier to get in those curves with a smaller rotary cutter. And we have replacement blades for these guys too, because you do not want to be fighting with this. And if you're working with silk, you know it's going to dull your blade very quickly. So plan for that. Okay. Good scissors. It's time to talk scissors. So
we have 3. I mean, all of our scissors are nice, but these are really, really great. These are the top of the line.
Oh, these cut like butter.
Don't use them on paper.
So if you see my pair of these at home, you might see a padlock through them. My husband knows now, my daughter knows now, but every once in a while somebody else comes in the house and tries to cut paper with my fabric scissors. And I'm like, These Kai will sharpen them for free. The only problem is that Kai is in New York, so you have to get them to them and back. It's a thing. Might be worth a trip to New York though. Fabric District, anyone? So these are beautiful scissors. We have both with and without micro serration, and I recently got the question, why would I want the serrated scissors? Well, if you're dealing with slippier fabrics, it'll kind of hold it more in place, and the scissors will cut through it better. It won't just keep pushing it forward on you, so it makes it easier to cut. A little harder to sharpen though.
We also have a nice pair of Singer scissors. Yeah,
and these are pretty great actually. They're not the Kai scissors, but for a, how do I get in? Middle range price of scissors, like these are $54.49. They cut really, really nicely. These would be similar to a pair of Ginger scissors that I bought many years ago. Good quality.
And then if you still want a nice pair of scissors, but you don't want to spend as much, they're the Tech Pro are a great choice as well.
Yeah.
And they're this pretty, like, bronze color.
Yeah.
I don't know, for me, I like what it looks like.
It's a decent scissor. Is it my favorite scissor? No. But it's a great scissor to get the job done. And, you know, there's different price points for everyone. We should also talk about rotary cutters. I think I meant to with quilting, but, you know.
Yeah.
So Alicia and I have different favorite rotary cutters.
So this one's my favorite. It's a pretty blue, but also it's just so easy because you just pull back this little lever and then the blade is exposed and push it back up, and there's no button having to click back and forth, and you don't have to worry about accidentally setting it down and it coming out. Where yours, you're still dropping it on your toe. Lose a toe.
It's fine. So this is a great cutter. Just so you know, we cannot reorder this color. When this is sold out, it's sold out. They've switched to yellow or pink or purple or something.
I think it's pink.
Is it pink?
I think.
Okay. Pink's awesome. I'm more of a blue girl, but so when these are sold out, they're sold out. We'll still be able to get the same shape and size. The back has a quick change lever, and if you're not used to using this cutter, it can be very confusing because you're looking for some sort of lever, and often you drop off the blade accidentally. Just something to be aware of.
A great other option also, because we didn't talk about this, but we have a pinking blade, and it can actually go into any alpha blade, or any, what do I call this? Alpha cutter?
Yeah, rotary
handle.
cutter.
The handle.
Does it fit all cutters or
it
just
does.
some?
It apparently goes into all of the, so anything that's 45, it should go into all of the alpha. I don't know about yours though.
Fun.
Yeah, so that's great. Pinking.
Okay, so somebody was dropping off a quilting frame that needed a new home that we found a home for, and in a box of stuff with that antique frame was the previous generation of this cutter, and I'd never seen it, and I tried it and I fell in love, and then I went searching for them to order them into store. Packaging isn't my favorite, I've got to admit, but this blue piece, I don't have to retract it or remember to put it back. As soon as I cut, it pushes out of the way while I'm cutting, and then when I'm done cutting, it pops itself back. There is a lock on the back right in the middle, or you can choose how thick of a fabric you're cutting so that you can choose how hard this is cutting into the cutting mat. So your cutting mat, you can choose to have it last longer, like this one. It's getting beat up a little bit, but yeah, I love this cutter. You can lock it so when you drop it, it won't cut off your toe. But I have a cat who tries to help me when I'm cutting, and it's nice that as soon as I set the cutter down, the blade is covered, so she's not accidentally cutting herself in her curious state of things. Little snips are good, but we'll talk about those in needlework. We're going to talk about this in needlework too, but I want to talk about this specifically in garment making. So we sell Friction pens, and we use them in garment making all the time, bag making, whatnot. And they're great because touch of the iron and they disappear. The one thing you need to know is they disappear, but they can come back in the bitter, bitter cold. So when it's really cold outside and you're wearing a white blouse where you've marked the bust dart,
it's coming back
with one
for
of
you.
these, you're gonna have a bullseye. So in your garment making, use them, but choose wisely where you're using them.
And maybe what color.
Yeah. But they're beautiful to use. It's great to just be able to touch them with a bit of heat, not with steam, and they disappear. And, you know, it's very cost effective. We also have the washout pen. This too can reappear, although it's less likely to. So I'm using this to mark my bust darts now if I don't want to just use a pin. Okay, garment makers, stay tuned for the bigger items at the end. Into needlework. If you've been stitching the Scanty Tree Stitch Along with us, you are possibly more than halfway done at this point, and you might be looking for another project. Or maybe you've always been a stitcher and I'm just late to the party. But we have some great kits in stock. I'm considering whether this is my next kit, because when I was stitching the Scanty Tree, I really liked having a lot of the same color in the same area, and I really like how fuzzy this guy gets because the yarn that's in it, what is it called? Woolly thread, Lana Pearl. I think they give you a piece of Velcro so that you can like felt it up and he becomes fuzzy.
Oh,
and maybe
cool.
the bunny tail too, I'm not sure.
I didn't know that. I've actually been staring at that one too.
I'm also really excited to learn these different stitches for all these different snowflakes, because I've been thinking about using that on a garment of sorts. So this is a super cute little kit. That's an option. I know it kind of says Christmas in a sense, but really this is winter, let's be honest. And then who does not love Highland cows?
The little cuties.
Yeah, so this is a printed background, so you're not stitching all of this stuff. You're stitching the cows and little bits of snow in like a sparkly thread. So this one might not be my next project because the sparkly filament and I are not friends. Just saying. But for our needle workers, we have some needle minders and even have a new one in stock. So this is not the new one, but it's super cute and the perfect little stocking stuffer. So Old St. Nick, an Explore one, because these kits pack down to nothing. So if you're going hiking or canoeing and you want like a little nighttime project that you can do by headlamp easily, there's like no weight to these kits. They pack down to nothing. This is what I should have brought instead of a book. Just saying. Although my pack of cards was a fan favorite. But check out our new little needle minder.
So cute. He looks like my cat.
This is by Audrey Jean. Oh, well, this is French, so maybe it's Audrey Jean. I don't know. People, French is not my first language. I am not the French speaker, but this is super cute. I adore this little needle minder. I think I might buy one. So we have needle minders. We have stitch rippers, and I know this is kind of controversial because it's very easy to tear your fabric. But if you're doing a lot of removing, this little rubbery tip on this stitch ripper gets a lot of those threads out if you're having trouble picking them out. And nice new pair of snips would be good. Okay, washout pen. Of course, we have our Frixon pens that you can be marking with, or we have our Fine Point Mark Be Gone, which is water washable instead of heat. If you're using a filament thread, you don't want to use these. Use something that comes out with water because you don't want to melt it with the iron. Okay. We also have some needles, including some tapestry needles. Kind of forgot to grab them, but that's okay. So if you're making a Boffy Threads kit, it comes with the needle. But if you lose the needle we have replacements here. No worries, we fixed that problem. Oh, here they are. So they're Bowen needles. I was told recently that a brand I was looking at bringing in isn't the right one anymore. They've changed where they're making them, and now sometimes there's burrs. Okay, large items that we carry in store that some people are thinking about for Christmas gifts. Dun, da, da, da. This beautiful Maven 140 IS holds so much water. We've been using this in our garment making classroom. There is a video on YouTube and in socials of Linda trying it out for the first time. So look at this plate with all these holes for steam. And this cord, so you're used to using a power cord with an iron, probably. This cord is where the steam comes from. So you don't have to keep filling up your iron. You just fill up this reservoir that's on the front of the iron. And so you can fill this whole thing with water up to like here, and it heats it, and the steam is beautiful. Now, this is not one of the reliable irons that you can turn the auto off function off on the iron. So it is going to auto off. When you come back, you hold your finger on the red button, and it comes back to life and will steam again. It comes back up to steam temp very, very quickly after the initial heat. It has a touch screen. There's a little anti-calc thing in it, which is perfect if you live in an area like I do with hard water. And it does vertical steam, and it doesn't really drip at all, which is, oh, I hate those drips. I know it's not a big deal, but they drive me crazy. So the reliable irons are kind of wonderful. We also still have our Aliso irons. They're a great purchase, especially if you're someone who this motion is not good for your arm. If you just want to be able to grab the iron and be able to iron and then let go and have it stand up, it's a thing. It exists. We have them. They're lovely. But the thing that people have been loving, so we've been testing this in our quilting classroom for quite a while, is the reliable ironing board. And this one's rectangular. So as a quilter, when I have to do yardage, even as a garment maker, when I have to do yardage, not having that little triangular pointy thing at the end makes it so much easier to iron more fabric at once. Let's put your end down and hold my end up. This has a lovely foam to it. And this black section that you see here at the end, you can leave the hot iron directly on this for,
I think it's 3 hours.
It's like 2 or 3 hours. It's incredible. We've been testing it in the classroom, and I think when we hit 4 hours, we got a little bit of white showing on it. There's also lint on it. This is out of our classroom because I wanted to test it. These are made in Italy. They're super good quality, and I mean,
these get a lot of use.
They do get a lot of use. They are truly loved, and we've got a few orders in now for the Christmas holidays. Although some partners are getting chuckles because, you know, when you're talking about buying an iron or an ironing board for someone, you have to be careful who you're buying it for, right? It needs to be the person who really wants it. But if you're going to buy an iron or an ironing board and you want good quality, we've got you covered. This is not a Walmart special. It's extremely sturdy. It has a lot of great features to it, and there's a few different options. So if you're coming in store, we've got our price list in the classroom. You can see the prices on our website, and we can go ahead and get that ordered for you, and it will come in. Reliable is based out of Toronto. We actually have one of the senior vice presidents who lives in town who delivers for us, which is really sweet. Anyway, so those are the irons. We already talked about the Kai scissors. If you didn't see that, I'll put the timestamp here so you can see it, because I think that is an important thing.
We have the Janome Holiday Gift Guide. This one, the sale ends December 30th. I won't go too into detail, but there's some really great options there, especially if you're looking to get a new machine. So many great things. Yeah.
So we recently did a video on the little, is it the 2030?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did a video on the 2030. I have a slightly different version here. So you can choose to get the quilting kit with that machine. And even if you're a garment maker and not a quilter, it might make sense because that little table that comes with it and getting the walking foot with it is really worth more than the $99 that they're charging extra.
Yeah, so it ends up, I actually calculated, it ends up being around $150, $160 for the quilting kit with the extension table, and we're only charging $99 for it, which is a really great deal on top of the machine being on sale.
Yeah, it's a nice little machine. It fits in a carry-on suitcase, although apparently it's overweight if you're in Australia. Somebody told me that. And I'm like, oh, my heart breaks for you because it works in Europe and it works in North America. But it's a lovely little machine. It does not have the automatic scissors feature. You need to know that if you are purchasing that machine.
And a couple less stitches than if you're used to the garment making machine that we use, which is the 3160.
It has a lot of stitches on it though. Like you can do more than just the basic. It has like some nice scallop things and some buttonholes in that. Yeah, it's a nice machine.
Yeah.
Oh, and we should talk about the Cover Pro too. Was it the Cover? No, sorry. It was the Air Threader. Yes.
This one, Air Threader.
So the Air Threader. Oh, and the Cover Pro as well. They come with extra feet right now. I'm only a little bit sad because they won't let me purchase just the bundle. And I want the bundle for my machine. So if you're purchasing the Air Threader as part of the holiday gift guide, so we can order these up to closing on December 30th. So that's good to know. But it comes with a piping foot set for both narrow and wide, a cording foot, gathering attachment, a beading attachment, a blind stitch foot, and I mean,
get the workbook for your machine.
Yeah, which is really nice because learning how to use these machines effectively, people come and take our serger course with Linda, and it is packed full of so much information that they come and take it again. More than once. And it's not like she's not giving good information. It's just sometimes we need to hear it twice. Yeah. The Air Threader is a beautiful machine, and to see...
I can attest to that.
Oh yeah, you just recently got it. And to see all these extra feet with it in the workbook, it's really, really nice.
And then the Cover Pro 2000 and 1000 both include Cover Pro accessories addendum.
So it comes with an elastic gathering attachment for narrow, elastic gathering attachment for wide, and a bias tape guide and belt loop folder.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for those, and I think I might be purchasing my machine a little something for Christmas. I do that every once in a while. One year I got the, I'm blanking on the name of it, but it's an attachment that allows me to sew on binding by machine in one pass. So it folds it and stitches it both sides in one pass. And you're about to bind a quilt for the first time.
Yep.
This is going to have more meaning to you soon. Recently, shipping has changed. So we used to be free shipping all of the time. Now it's free shipping anywhere in Canada if your order is $90 or more based on the subtotal. If you are in our local area, it is free shipping over $30. If you need us to deliver a smaller package than that in our local delivery area, it will be $3, and we will drop it off as we're in your area. So that should be sometime within 7 days of you placing your order. Good?
Yep.
All right. All right. Thanks everyone for hanging in with us. This was a long one, and we'll see you soon.
Take care.
Enjoy your holidays.